Hello. So, welcome back to Chris's movie reviews. It's been a while since I've done a review. I'm very sorry about that. Life has been chaos, to say the least. If you didn't know, I went to Washington, D.C. for the CAAs. We won that, and then we came back, and the entire world was in quarantine. Literally while I was watching this movie, I found out that I'm now working from home, which I don't know exactly how that's going to work yet. So we're all a little bit stressed here. Yay! But I'm going to talk about this a bit more on the blog, but I feel it's really important to distract ourselves. Just a tiny bit. Not hugely distracting, but find ways where we can get away from the, let's face it, the hell that is currently Earth. Even if there wasn't the coronavirus going around, the pressures of everyday things, I think it's still very important just to find something to escape. And for me, it's movies. Movies, stories, television, these ways that we can find ourselves in a different world. And I think that's really what is most important here. Alright, so, as you can tell by the end credits, I just watched Frozen 2. Now, disclaimer, I have a 2-year-old and a 10-year-old niece. So, needless to say, I don't like the song Let It Go. And when Frozen 2 was first announced, I was like, oh my god, they're actually doing this thing. And of course, my second thought was, this is just a money grab. I mean, Let It Go was so overwhelming. It was clear what it was going to be. And then of course, Olaf and all that stuff. You hear they're doing a Frozen 2 and you're just going to be like, this is going to be a crappy, straight to VHS kind of thing. Man, I love being wrong. I don't know if they had planned a sequel beforehand. I have a feeling that they did not. If they did a wonderful job of not letting us know. If they did not, they did such a phenomenal job of taking what we knew. I hate to call these things universes, but in the world of Frozen that was established in the first one, and expanding on it in the second one. It really was great. There was great juxtapositions between these really dark moments, when like Anna and Elsa find their parents' ship. And that was almost immediately preceded by Kristoff's love song. And it was just really good. Now that's not to say it was perfect. There were some things that just were never explained. There were just some things that were kind of, the ending felt a little bit rushed. Like, I totally get it, and it totally wrapped itself up. It does come in, it's just slightly over an hour and a half, which is a typical movie. Maybe on the slightly longer end if you're marketing towards kids. But honestly, there were some really, really deep subjects in there. There is the parents' death. There is unification of nations, which I was a huge fan of. I'm always a fan of peace and, coming together. But it was really, there were some moments I was like, excuse me? Also, little, I don't know if Disney intended this, which they probably did, because there's quite a few times when they do this. The very end, when Queen Anna tells Kristoff that she prefers him in leather. Yeah. So anyway, we now know what Anna and Kristoff's kinks are. But no, in all seriousness, there were some really adult moments in there. And there were also really cute and funny moments, and it was really good. I think the music was okay. Obviously, you can't have another Let It Go. I know like Into the Unknown is kind of like the big one, even though I guess it wasn't like the marketed big one. But once you have a hit song, it is so rare for the sequel. In fact, I can't even think of any songs from the sequel, or any sequel, I should say, that match one from the first. There were some good songs. I particularly liked Olaf's song. I'm always just a huge fan of Olaf, Josh Gad. He's a phenomenal actor. But yeah, I mean, it was a Disney movie. It was a Disney movie musical. God, it better not go to Broadway. Maybe this will be another blog post, but movies should be movies, and yeah, Broadway's doing things that I'm not a huge fan of. The effects were amazing. Like the actual animation was really, really good. I still can't get over how, like, again, I go into every movie with very minimal expectations. I think that's really important. Because if you go and you're like, oh, well, that's... No, that's just, you're gonna come out of the movie with a bad expectation, with a bad result. And so when you go in with no expectations, you're either gonna be surprised, or you're not gonna be surprised, or it's gonna work out for you. And going in with no expectations, except for the fact that this was a sequel, that is all I knew. I kind of expected them to pander a bit towards the, I expected them to pander a bit towards the age of, your typical child, like 12 and under, we're gonna say. But they made this so well. Damn it, Disney, you're so good at what you do. I really liked I liked why they incorporated the historical aspect. I think it made for a really interesting storytelling. I definitely think more could have been done with it. But then again, you do have to balance between a story that is purely about the historical background and a story that is meant to entertain children. That's plain and simple. That's what that is. I'm trying to think of what else. For whatever reason, spoiler alert, not that you should know, this has been out for a while. For whatever reason, when Olaf died, I wasn't sad. I kind of expected him to come back. Maybe because I'm just very used to how Disney operates. And also because I know, God forbid, Olaf dies and then you are never, ever, ever... You can't sell the merchandise, ever. That's probably why Han Solo was killed. His merchandise never sold. But no, I do like how they combined and they made, like the 5 spirits. I don't know if I agree with Elsa being the 5th. I was watching something the other day and I can't remember it. Can't remember what it was, but that person became like the 5th or something. And I get why, but at the same time, I don't see how Ice. I guess. No, I can't. It's just a very strange thing that I'm not a huge fan of. I'm not surprised that this did not become as much of a cultural phenomenon. It was kind of all tied in with when the first one came out, that was kind of your spark point. And so it wasn't really going to take over the culture again. I do think it was interesting. There was one line, Olaf actually just did it in that little credit sequence where he said, "I live, and so do you." There was one line early on where Olaf, he broke the fourth wall, which I thought was interesting. I don't know if I would have chosen to do that, but you know. Oh, I was gonna mention something else about Olaf, and it was gonna be really awesome. Yeah. All right. So I guess we're getting to the point where I have to give this a rating. Yay. Now, as I said, I came into this with very little expectations. In fact, I almost had negative expectations just because of the fact that it is a Frozen movie. It is a Disney movie. It's part of the Frozen franchise. I wasn't... It's also a sequel. I just wasn't... Sequels never do it. Sequels never do it right. For a very brief moment while I was watching, because as I watched the movie, I'm thinking of what the rating's going to be, of course. And for a very brief moment, I wanted to give it the illustrious 5 stars. And it was about 3/4 of the way through. And the ending wrapped up, and I was just like, you could have done more. You totally could have done more. You could have ended it just slightly differently, and it would have been so much nicer. Oh, one of the things. Okay. Sorry, we're going into a bit of screenwriting here. I don't care if this gets into the cut. So, when a main character is put in front of an obstacle, they should not get through the first time. What I mean by this is when, pardon me, when Anna confronts the guards at the dam. You know, she's got the earth gods, earth spirits, whatever, chasing her, and the guards are sitting there, and they're like, no, we swore to protect the dam. And she's like, nope, Arendelle is safe, and we have to do this. They're just like, huh, okay. No, what you need to do, because when you're presented with a real life obstacle, that's not the way that it happens. What has to happen is, you know, even if it was 2 or more, like, Arendelle's gonna be safe, you need to let me through. Absolutely not. Listen to me, I am the princess of Arendelle. My sister is the queen. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Like, the main character needs to exert some power. And I think that would have been really interesting, especially seeing as Anna, throughout the whole movie, it's very clear that she doesn't have powers. And in fact, that's part of the reason why Elsa allows her to go. But anyways, back to the rating part. Back to the rating part. Glad my hair looks good. So, I am going to give Frozen 2 4 stars for a few reasons. A, it's a sequel, but it is really, really good. B, it manages to find a way to combine both light-hearted childness with these really sensitive subjects. You know, like, one of the things is, there's always change coming and everything's not going to be the same way that it is. Like, that is a really deep subject, which is actually kind of what's happening right now. But it's there. You know, everything else was good. It all kind of fit together. The main reason it didn't get 5 stars is because at the end it kind of just all felt wrapped up. Or it felt like it was wrapping up too quickly. And they kind of were just like, we just need an ending. Just give us an ending. So yeah, 4 stars for Frozen 2. And that's it. I hope you watch it. If you are enjoying this during your quarantine, I should say, enjoy watching this. You may think I'm right, or maybe you think I'm wrong. Let me know down in the comments. And if you like these reviews, like this video, and if you want to be one of the first to see new content, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. Also, make sure you check out chrissmoviereviews.com for more insights into the reviews, links to all the old reviews I've done, and you can even suggest what movie I review next. And don't forget to follow at Chris's Movie Reviews on Instagram, where you will get the latest updates, reviews, and news.